Morning, everybody. It's 8:15 a.m. It's August 12th. Welcome to my channel. Now, we have CPI coming out today. Yesterday was a day, typical Monday, and especially in this summer trading, I've noticed that markets are disconnected a lot every day. So, like, there's a big disconnect in the markets a lot of these days, which tends to give us an early run up and then it fails, right? And yesterday, I had a nice short. I shared it in my community, and I'm really being picky lately because I haven't been trading a ton. I didn't take any trades Friday, so this was like a really nice setup using Bookmap. I'm gonna go over that in a sec. Basically, yesterday markets were disconnected for a while, and I have a rule: I don't trade unless the markets are connected, like when they're moving together in unison. So I waited for that to happen. 6406 yesterday was my key level pre-market. That turned out to be a very key level yesterday. So that's like I said, these markets are disconnected. Yesterday there was a huge divergence between market cap weight and equal weight, right? And my plan pretty much came perfectly from the pre-market video. And what I wanted to see was the market go up. Remember, I wanted to see the Nasdaq break last week's highs. It did. It went into supply, and then that was all she wrote. We had a balanced profile yesterday, so usually, like, the play that I did is in a balanced market and not strong internals while the market goes higher, is you usually revert back to the mean. And we also had a poor low in the ES, which I'll get into in a little bit as well. Usually those get corrected, and it did. Now, in my trade execution, I had like a 3 to 1, a little more than a 3 to 1 or something like that target. I took my target off. I hit 10 contracts. I hit 8 contracts off. I was going to hold a couple runners. Man, that would have been a great one. Still a good trade. Okay. Still a good trade. So today we have CPI. That's at 8:30. Now we have Trump delaying tariffs for China for another 90 days, and he's still talking about the Nvidia. He's not crazy about China purchasing the latest chips. So that's what's going on today. All right. Now let's get right into it. Okay. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, volume profile to find structure in the markets along supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. All right, that's my edge. All right. Now I also look at my anchor VWAPs and my market internals. Market internals are so key. Okay, so forget about Bookmap, forget about pretty much almost everything. My market internals is what I base my setups off of. I look at that and I say, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to be short? Do I want to be long? Do I want a long pullback? Do I want to only go for a reversal? Like that? That lines up everything for me, and then everything follows after that. Okay, and Bookmap is unbelievable so far. I've been testing it this month, and I was like, is it really gonna? Oh, it is awesome. I could say it's awesome. I like my footprint chart, but this footprint chart does not give me a visually pleasing thing like the Bookmap does. Okay. Now, hopefully, you guys join my channel. All right, subscribe, set an alert, do this every morning. Give you the market story. Give you key levels. Key levels. All right. Anybody can give you support and resistance. Right. But certain levels have more weight than others, like 6406 yesterday. And I explained to you guys why, yes, 6406 was so key. Okay. It's the most traded price of the month. All right. We'll go into a little bit of that, why that is, in a little bit later. Or not why that is, just show you quickly why, right? It's all human behavior. That's what the market is, and that's what the volume profile shows you. Market behavior. Oh, everybody's agreeing upon that price. That's market behavior. Okay, move away from it. Oh, more people in pain, right? That's why you trend. Okay. Now, that being said, okay, every day, all right, I give live commentary in my Discord. And you also can get my free indicator, the weekly expected move. I run it every weekend or Monday morning based on the options market, and it gives you the expected moves for a bunch of tickers. Okay? Put it on your chart and let me know what you think, because it's been impressing the hell out of me every week. All right? So, join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, sign up, join the community, right? Want to get more people in there and do a proper live stream. You know, I can do live streams, but sometimes the crew's a little small. So I want questions, right? On a day like yesterday, I literally did not watch the market on my trigger chart almost at all. I just had alerts set and I was like charting, I was doing other stuff because there's no need to look at it when my levels aren't getting hit or I just don't like what I'm seeing. Okay? That's a perfect time to share what I'm seeing. All right? Okay. Let's get right into it. Let's look at the futures watch list. Now, this should be muted CPI in 8 minutes. So we'll just look at it though, okay? And then if you guys like, probably going to do it if nobody says anything, but the book map has a replay feature that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to show you what I saw, okay, in book map. That gave me confidence, okay, with the combination of internals. All right, I'm going to give you that in a sec, in a little bit, after the data comes out, okay? Bitcoin's at 118. We got Ethereum up a half a percent. The VIX is up a half a percent. 10-year yield's up 0.40. Russell's up 0.27. Dollars pretty much flat. NQ flat. Dow's flat. ES flat. Silver is down 0.16. 30-year bonds being sold down 0.27. Gold down 0.41. Crude down 0.78. All right. Mag 7 Plus here before CPI. Let's just look. Is there anything? Eli Lilly up 0.60. That's been smashed as of lately. Tesla had a nice day yesterday. Right now, Apple's a laggard. All right. Top sector stocks. Nothing to see there. Let me go right to sectors. All right, who's leading the pack today? That usually semiconductors, but look at that, it's all muted. Really nothing to note here. There's nothing really to talk about there. All right, so we go right into economic calendar. Let's look at that. Not sure if documents is here. Rosita, my other boy, my other lurker boy, Amalio. Not sure if he's watching. Um, Punkcake, I haven't seen Punkcake in a while. But anyway, let's look at this economic calendar. So today, headline number. Consensus is 2.8, previous is 2.7. Expected a 0.1 rise. Okay. So that's the headline. Core, we're expecting a 0.1 rise as well. Okay, expecting 3%. Last time we got 2.9. So that's what we'll be looking out for at 8:30. You got some Fed speak today. You got Fed Barkin, Fed Schmidt. All right, let's go over to some news here. Some stocks move in the morning. Intel stock rose 2.7 after President Donald Trump praised CEO Le Boutin following their meeting on Monday. All right, let's see what else here. 10 cent. Let's see, stock climb 4.6 after the Chinese media company reported better than expected results. Palo Alto stock rose 1.2 after brokerage Piper Sandler raised its rating. Okay, more news. China extends tariff truce by 90 days. Trump opens the door to the sales of version of NVIDIA's next-gen AI chips. Let's see here. U.S. consumer prices likely increase marginally in July. Let's see. We know Pfizer's combination therapy improves survival in bladder cancer trial. Let's see if there's anything else in here that's really jumping off the charts. Not really. Not really. All right. Let's look at the juice. Now it says here at 1 in the morning, China government sends notices to firms discouraging the use of H20s, the chips for NVIDIA. Nothing really. But See, it's all about the CPI in 5 minutes. Do we have any Trump things on the thing? White House briefing at 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. Maybe there's any. I'll just quickly, if there's anything here, Chipotle got an upgrade. Let's see. Cole's upgrade, Five Below upgrade. Interesting. Palo Alto upgrade. We know about that. Let's see if there's any downgrades today to note. Union Pacific downgrade. All right. I think we're cool there. You know what? Let's look at the overall breadth. 45% of stocks over the 20-day simple moving average. That's kind of like how our stock market looks every day, right? In the middle. That makes sense. What's the news? Ashma. What's the news? What do you mean by that? We got news coming out. Data coming out at 8:30. Ashma. Is that what you want to know? All right, I'll wait for you to answer as I continue, okay? That's our breadth charts. All right. Let's move on. We'll look at our daily charts right before we get into this. All right, right before we get into this. Let's look at those dailies. You want to know my prediction or what the consensus is? Like mine or the consensus? I'll tell you one thing, mine doesn't really much matter. Consensus today, I went over it a little bit before. Consensus is 2.8. Last time it was 2.7. That's the headline. Core 3%, expecting 3. Last time was 2.9. So they're expecting a rise. Okay? Expecting a rise. Love you. If it rises, then a dump. You know what? I want to tell you this is going to for sure happen. I don't know. That's why you got to look at price action. All right, we'll look at it together. We'll look at it together. All right, let's look real quick at daily charts here. Right before we get into the data. Okay, we'll switch to the hourly charts. This is SPX. Let me get to SPY. I mean, they're the same, but I like talking about the SPY here. All right, you can see my expected move on there. That's an indicator. Ashma, I don't know if you've loaded that. All right. Now, look what we're doing. Good morning, Chief. Look what we're doing. Just higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And it's begrudgingly going higher, right? Down day, up day, down day, up day, up day. But it means generally the trend is higher, right? Yesterday, look what we did. Bull trap. Talked about it in the morning. Okay, bull trap. You broke last week's highs, and then you failed and closed here. All right. You know, we got CPI today. That's coming out in 30 seconds. All right, let's look at futures. Actually, where are we at now? 636. We're pretty much flat. There's nothing really to see here. Here's your ES. Okay, remember what I said? You had a range here, came down, had a range here. Now we're back in the middle of this range. Okay, that's why I said 6406 is a key level. All right. News is going to pop in 4 seconds. Let's see what the market does with it. All right, you see gyrations in the market. Let's see. What do we have? Whoa. It rose more than expected. Okay. Let's see here. Big move up in the markets right now. Okay. Let's see here. So, core year over year. We expected 3, we got 3.1. Hotter than expected. Hotter than expected. Inflation. I'm sorry, the core, yeah, that's 3. The headline number, 2.8. Interesting. Core rose, which is what the Fed cares about more, and the headline went down. Headline went down. Interesting. That's a conundrum, right? So since it went down, and I'll put there's some big orders hitting the tape, okay? So let's just go to the 1 hour charts here. Market's liking it so far. So far. Here's your 1 hour chart on the ES, okay? We're right at last week's highs right there, right now. So all this consolidation just got ripped, right? All these shorts had to cover. Okay. What do we do here? Key level. Key level, right? Now if you look at headline, right? Not the Fed's preferred gauge. Headline, it went down. And I'm sorry. It's the same as last time. It's the same. Okay? But it was under the expectations of a rise. Right? So, but the core went up. Very interesting, right? Market right now is liking the number. But where are we at? We know these are key level here. Look at this level of resistance here. Right? That's last week's high, 64.26. 64.26, right? And if we go back farther, we know we got supply up here. We know all-time highs are up here. Okay? This is last month's highs up here. Still got a ways to go. Look what's happening now. You're wicking out, right? So you have to judge. Forget about what I think about the numbers. That doesn't matter. What does me having an opinion on it? The thing that matters here is price action. It doesn't matter what I think. The numbers are crap. It's corrupt, or I think this. Doesn't matter. That's a fool's errand to make me think my opinion about what the numbers should be matters. All I care about is that. Right? What did I just say? Key area, right? So if you were betting on CPI right now, right? Psychologically, and you were like, I want to go long, right? Well, I would take profit here. Let's see what the market does with it, though. Okay? Let's see what the market does with it. That's the key. What does the market do with this news? All right? Now, I don't know how quick the Fed tool for cuts. Let's see how quick. I'm not sure if it updates that quick. Let's see. Okay, so this is for September. There's no FOMC. 82.5% of a cut expected, quarter point cut. Let's go with, well, not probabilities, current, compare. All right. This is current. This was yesterday. It went down 3%. Now, I'm not sure how quickly this updates. Okay. What I like about this, as you can see, this was a month out. This was, it rose to 92% a week ago, and it's starting to go lower. Crypto's liking it, huh? All right. So that's what we got here. Now, real quickly, let's go over. Remember before things were muted, right? The watch lists. Let's look at it. Crypto was at 118. It's up. Bitcoin's up, right? Ethereum was only up a little bit. Now it's up 2.3. Russell's up 1.12. Nasdaq's up 0.51. ES up 0.41. Okay. 30-year bonds are flat. 10-year yield's flat. Silver is close to getting to flat. The one thing that got crushed is the VIX right now. Okay. Down 4.8%. But it's only down 78 cents. Okay. Market's liking the numbers. Okay. Let's go to Mag 7 Plus real quick. What do we have here? Oops, sorry. Coinbase. Hence with Ashma giving us the nod on crypto, right? So up 2.31%, Tesla's up 1.79, AMD. So the market's liking this, right? All green across the board, right? All green across the board. Sectors, let's look at really what matters here. Who's your leader? Semiconductors up 0.89. Semiconductors are your risk on, risk off indicator. Right? When semis are hot, that's a risk on market. When semis are not, it's a risk off market. Okay? Now remember, this market's really liking it right now. Okay? Starting to push past that level. This is the initial reaction. Right? This is the initial reaction. I don't know what it's going to. This could just be an initial reaction. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is flash back real quick to the daily charts. All right, so this is the ES, right? Look, you can see the same thing I was just showing you guys. This is a key resistance level, okay? Last month's high is 64.68, right? So let's look at QQQ as of yesterday, right? Yesterday had a nice strong move, and then it closed all the way down here. Back inside last week's range. It actually made all-time highs again. All right, where are we now? 576.47. Right, so let's just look at futures real quick. All right, so there's yesterday's highs. We're edging towards. Now we didn't make all-time highs in futures, but we did in QQQ. So all-time highs in futures 23845. That is your last month's highs. Okay, so you have some consolidation and room to move in futures. Right? I'd be very cautious with this move. We're in August. Earnings are over for the big boys, except we have Nvidia's coming, right? I'm just cautious because every time this has happened to look good, it falls apart, and that's when I use the internals. Okay, that's when I use the internals. So, I mean, there's nothing really to look at the 10-year yield. Like I said, I'm probably gonna stay away from that triple-headed monster for right now because there's no point. It's really not doing much. Okay. I'm just keep on going over the same exact things. All right, but we are going to go over is the market internals from yesterday. All right, that's my baby. All right, so why don't we go over that? There's my baby right there. All right, so this, I told you, this is what's under the hood of the markets. Market internals. Okay. Picture it as a body. Your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver. Okay. And this tells me how the market's doing. All right. Now I want you to notice something. This is the market. Yes, SPX here. Right. And in the beginning, in the SP, now don't get me wrong. The S&P 500 was relatively weak compared to the Nasdaq. Okay. But look what the internals were showing me. That is not strong. Right off the bat. And what was happening was, because the infotech is 34% of the market cap weight in the S&P 500, 34%. Let me say that again. 34%. So you better believe where tech goes, the market goes. Okay? Now these bars are based on the weights. Check out the white line. The white line is equal weight. That's as all the sectors were equal. Look at the divergence here. I mean, that is some serious divergence. This is because the tech was strong, right? Now, once we moved up, you can see the move up. The internals were not strong. That's what made me want to short. Okay, plus a balanced profile. Okay, that's what made me want to short the ES, which I did yesterday. You could see it on my Discord. Okay, and I rode that puppy down to my target, and I could have, the runner would have really took me, oof, but I didn't. Still got a great return on it, almost 300% return, 2.79R. I'll take it. Okay, but this is the tip off that just tells me the market's not strong. Now this market's ripping right now. Okay, we'll get into it. I'm gonna let it rip because I want to give you guys analysis. Okay, I'll give you guys better analysis. All right. So that's the market internals. All right. Now if we go right into the hourly charts. Back there. Okay. Back into the hourlies. We're gonna notice a couple things here. Okay. The market's really liking this. All right. So we know we have supply. We're in supply. So now this supply zone's gone. That has now been taken out. That supply is taken out. All right. Now, remember that level, 6406. And now, why are we going to move so big? Because we're in ultimate balance, folks. Most traded price of the week and the most traded price of the month are pretty much together. You can call it in the middle at 6410. Take the average. Any move away from ultimate balance is a big move. So this is not surprising to me. Okay? Why is this important, right? Why do I say ultimate balance? Well, over the last month and over the last week, this area has had the most trading volume. People have agreed upon this price, long, shorts, right? So if it's the most traded price of the last month, and the rolling month and the rolling week, what's going to happen if you move away? You're going to trend. Now, can it fail? Yeah. And then you can go the other way? Yeah. And it'll be a big move as well. It's just a very important area, okay? This is your bull bear line in the ES, okay? Now, to give you more of a visual, now I do have the visual here with the high volume node here on the composite volume profile. We'll go one step further, okay? We'll go one step further. I'll put a volume profile on the charts here. And we could even go, let me make sure that I have it here. All right, so I could put a volume profile. Let's say even from this swing low. Let's see. Boom. What's the most traded price? See what I mean? Right here. From that low, that's all the volume, right? We could even take this thing back. Let's take it back all the way to here, to this bottom here. Where is the most volume? Right here. Do you understand? Not all levels are equal. Okay, I hope I made my point. It's just everybody's trading around this level. Move away from it, you're going to get a big move. Let's see if we even take it back all the way to here from the all-time high. Let's see what the most traded price is. There you go. It's this price, right? But that's way back. Still have a high volume node here. All the way back here. Okay? That's how the market moves. Simple as that. So this is not surprising. You need a catalyst, CPI. Market right now is liking it. We're in supply. Okay, all-time highs is up here. So the level that you care about today is this. It's rounded off, call it 64.10s. The market needs to find acceptance above here to go to all-time highs. If it fails, comes back through here, oh boy. You take out these guys, you can really cook, right? Month-to-date anchored VWAPs right there. That's your 63.47. Okay, that's your ES. Pretty easy level to talk about, right? Now you go to your NASDAQ. Okay, here's your NASDAQ. And we can back it up a little bit here. Let's go to that all-time high, which is a lot closer, right? So we get rid of these supplies. They are no longer a matter. You just took out that resistance, last week's highs. There's last month's highs, which happens to be all-time highs. 2348. 23848, sorry. Okay. Now your most traded price of the week here is your, what is that? 237. No, I'm sorry. 237 right here. That is your little bias line for your NASDAQ. Okay. Look what we did. All this volume spent up here. Once you cross that line, you had a volume up here. Now we're back above. So it just, you took all the longs out down here, took all these shorts out down here, and you're up here. So again, 237 is your bull bear line in the NASDAQ. Simple as that. Okay? Simple as that. Now the NASDAQ is relatively stronger. Relatively stronger, okay? All right. Now I'm not sure who's still with me. Not even sure if Documents is here or Rosita or if Ashma's still with me. All right. I could go into the trade yesterday. I also might do the recap real quick. You're back, okay? I don't know if you guys want to see real quick what I saw in Bookmap to take my short yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys want to see it, but maybe I'll just show it real quick, okay? I have the replay already loaded up, so I just want to show you guys, okay? The Bookmap, I'm telling you right now, wow, it's something else, boy. I mean, I know how to read order flow, so it's not like, oh my God, I got to get used to it. No, 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 no. It's very easy to read, okay? So let's go into that real quick, and then we'll get into scenarios real quick. I don't want to spend too much time, but I want to show you guys what I saw, and it's pretty cool, okay? So let's bring up Bookmap. Already got it loaded up, all right? So this is when yesterday, look at these green bubbles represent aggressive buyers. Aggressive buyers, okay? These are aggressive buyers. And just so everybody understands, these levels here are liquidity, okay? That's resting bids. And you can see here, this shows them here, but the heat map basically shows where there's resting bids and offers, okay? Above price is offers, or the ask. Below price is the bids. So if you're a trader and you set, okay, below price, if I'm gonna, price is here, right, on this replay, 64.29. If I'm gonna go and set a limit order here, and I have, let's say, 5 contracts, I'm gonna show up in these resting bids. I'm gonna have my order there. You're gonna see it, okay. Same thing above price. You're on the offer. If I set a sell limit up there, I'm gonna be part of the order book. And then in Bookmap, it shows you the liquidity. Okay. Now remember, yesterday's highs was, what is it? Was it like 60? Was it 64.31.50? Okay. Now you're gonna see this. I'm gonna play this. All right. And now what I was looking for, because the VPOC was down here. Notice the volume profile right here. VPOC was right here, 64.14. Whenever you move away in a very thin volume, look at this volume here. Very thin, okay? And the internals were weak. They were not strong. So I was all over the short. Now, if you don't have internals and don't know volume profile rules, you're going to think, I'm not shorting this thing. It just broke. Look how aggressive this selling is. So we're going to play, I'm going to play this. Let me put it into like 4 times speed. So I'm going to play it for you here. So here we go. We're popping up here. We're going to make the high. Boom. Big aggressive buyers, right? They come right in. Let's zoom in. Big aggressive buyers come in. Okay. I'm going to show you. Now that's the high. So let's speed it up a little bit. Let's go 8 times. All right. So now we came off. See this buyer here? He got stuffed. Look at the liquidity here. So this is what's cool about it, right? So this is the resting orders. When the order came in here to this liquidity, it got filled. Okay? Then a buyer came up here. That was the high. Right? Seller came in, and now you took a little ride down. Okay? So I'm going to keep playing it and show you what I was looking at. Now, one thing to note, okay? This is delta at price. This right here represents buyers minus sellers. So right now I know at 264.2875, there's a decent selling at this price. So if I look to the left, right now there's not big bubbles here per se, but I know right at that price, there's a lot of selling as opposed to buying. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I'm just gonna now what I'm doing here is like, okay, high day's been put in. I want to see some selling get put in, and then I'm gonna look. I'm just waiting to see if there's any big seller or anything that I could follow, right? So let's speed this up a little more. Now I want to notice, what do you see here? 2750 has a decent seller, right? 424, right? And just really easy numbers here. Here's the total volume, 1724. Here's the split volume between buyers and sellers. Notice how there's 1,074 sellers compared to 650 buyers. That's a net 424 to the sell side. Okay. I know now, look at the liquidity here. Notice the resting offers here. There's 211 resting offers at 64.30. That means that people are sitting there waiting to sell. Okay. Now I'm going to keep playing this here. You're going to see what happens here. So I want to see in these 28s, sellers here, 2750, are these sellers strong? Okay. I just want to see it. I'm looking at price action here. So now what do we have here? You have, remember this delta here, these sellers. Then you have the 27 and a halves, right? So this area from 28 to 27 has sellers. Look, came up here, boom, came up here, and you don't have big buyers coming in here. These are small bubbles, right? So I'm going to keep playing, right? So now look at this sellers at 417 here. What I've noticed in Bookmap, I've noticed in Footprint too, but you see it better here, is when you test these guys, now we already got selling, you already have a buyer trapped here, right? You have liquidity all up in here, meaning the book is thick up here for people waiting to sell. So if you would put, what I was doing here was going, all right, I want to be a seller around 27, 28s. I want to put my stop loss at around the high of day, past this liquidity. Okay. So I'm sitting here waiting to get a retest around the 28s, 27 and a halves. Okay. I'm waiting, right? Boom. There's a test to the 27 and a halves, this strong seller, right? So there's the 27 and a halves got tested. Let's see. Let me see what time I entered here. I'm going to kill this in a sec. I'm just showing you guys here. I just want to see when I entered here. I'll just bring you right here. So when I say it, short ES 6427, 1235. So I think I short this. I have to look at my log, but all right. So this is 1224. I think I short right here at 27s. Right here. This is the third test. 1, 2, 3 lower highs, right? And I'm targeting 64.14. So here it is. This is where I short, right there. That's where I got short, right here. And look, sellers come in, right? Now I have 1, 2, 3 lower highs, right? Now I'm looking to take out this. And see this structure here, these bubbles? If you have a weak market and it's balanced, you should clean these out easily. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up. And you'll see the sellings just start to come in. Boom. Big seller. Boom. Okay. Boom. You're cleaning up this poor structure. Boom. And I'm waiting for my 64.14. Why? That's the VPOC right here. See it? It's the most traded price. Boom. Big sellers coming in. See that? Look at this liquidity. Boom. Now it gets a nice little pop up. Now I was putting my stop initially up here, and that would have been a monster, right? But that's just, I just wanted to show you guys that. Look at these buyers come in and they get trapped. Okay, I want to show you that real quick. Hold on. Why did they get trapped? Look. Look at that liquidity. You see that? That liquidity, boom, filled those buyers. Those passive sellers were filled by this buyer. And boom, dumped. Okay? Now I know this to me makes sense, but no, this is Bookmap. Okay? It's a whole separate thing. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. Okay? Remember these sellers up here. Okay? We're going to get into scenarios now. I'm taking a lot of the time up here. All right? I just wanted to show you that. Okay? I probably might do a video more in detail of what I just showed you. Okay? But you have to understand how the market works. Okay? Bids and offers, the volume profile, you know, what makes up the VPOC, why, you know what I mean? It just all makes sense if you understand it. All right. So right now, that's it. We're going to go right into market profile, volume profile. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to bring up my workspace here. Just give me a sec. Did that look like crazy, Rosita, to you? What I was looking at? Did it look nuts? Or did it look like, oh, all right, I think I see it? Now, to me, it looks totally like makes sense, right? But I understand. Trust me, I saw this for the first time around 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and I remember going, yeah, I don't know what that. I don't know. I'm not sure if I understand that. Okay, so I get it if it looks like a little crazy. All right. Now let's go to the let's change my workspace, and we're gonna get into some game plan here because now I wanted some price action to settle in. That's why I did that. Okay. So let's look at this, folks. And again, it might not be the best plan right now, but I wanted some price action to settle in first. Okay, so let's go to the market profile, volume profile now. Let's do all this analysis here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It would have been a monster. It would have been a monster if I held that runner. Oh my God, would that have been a monster? But that's okay. Still good trade. All right, now, hey, let's look at our market here. Let's look at our ES. Okay, folks, we're in balance. Okay, don't let the price action sway you. Sway you. Okay, now let's look at this profile. It's a rolling profile, all right? What do we got? Excess to the bottom, then we have our value area. Value area, remember that's 70% of the trading volume. And you got excess to the top now thanks to the CPI. It's a little top heavy, right? But we know our level, right? 64.10 is our ultimate bounce. 64.10. Remember how hard I was talking about your 64.06 yesterday? Remember that? So look at this. We'll just look at yesterday's range. Look at yesterday's price action. Okay, and 64.06 was played with a lot. Look, double bottom here, went all the way up, and all you needed was when you went through that level, look what happened. Boom. Okay, that's why I told you the levels are not all equal. Someone could tell me, oh, I got my support and resistance. Okay, but do you have the most traded price at a month and a week? Did you know what that price is? Because one support, yeah, supports could be, but this is like in the middle of the range. How do you know that level, right? So we got single prints here, folks. Single prints. All right, we got single prints. Now let's look at this. All right, we were just gapping up. Now we're not. Look, see what I'm talking about, right? Back into range. We're back into yesterday's range. Here's last week's highs. Okay, currently the auction's almost complete. right? Now we broke these highs. You have some volume here, okay? What do you want to see now is from this move, the 50% retracement of this move is 64.16. That is the midpoint of the overnight range, okay? And the market's teeing us up here for a perfect level here. So you got overnight lows of 63.91s, right? Yesterday's low 63.87. This becomes a big key area with this demand zone. Okay, that's a part that you might now, if we stay in this balance area, that becomes balance lows, or it becomes a breakout level to the downside. Okay, now monster level, ultimate balance, most traded price of the month and the week are right here. They're together, ultimate balance. Okay, now if I looked at this move, we broke the 64.31s, right, with the CPI. Remember, we're in August. Okay, if this was looked at of a little bit of a break of balance here, and you start to go back into the range, and you fall under ultimate balance, that means you're going to go and test the other side of balance. That's balance rules. Now, if you break this balance, let me give you another tip. It's called a measured move. So if we take this box, put it around this little balance area, okay, and you take this and start to go and break it, well, you take this and you just call a measured move. You double the box. You generally move down to the size of the range. Okay? Now stay with me here. Now, this is last week's highs. Price is here, inside range now. So see what's happening now? People were loving this, had some volume here. Single prints here. This is emotional. Single prints are emotion. It's one-way traffic. All right? Now, I know some people out there like somebody here. We're going to talk about the elephant on the toothpick here, okay? That's what the single prints. Single prints here are emotional buying or selling. In this case, emotional buying. Okay? This case, emotional buying. I know longs are up here. They're all happy. Okay? Now look. They're kind of a little bit underwater. Okay? And the way this market's been is you make a move, and then the move gets taken away. That's the theme lately. Okay? Look what we're doing. Now we're back inside yesterday's range. So we got to talk about, we're in supply. We came into supply. 64.42s is our overnight highs. Okay? Now, the only box that I'm going to put here is a demand zone here. Okay? In your ES, which also contains your month-to-date anchored VWAP. 63.48. Okay, now I'm going to spread out this price action of the overnight so we can see it. Market profile is only 30-minute bars. That's all it is. I know so some people might be like, what the hell is that thing? That's all it is. 30-minute bars. Okay? That's all it is. Look at the support, right? Right here. Woof. You lose that and the ultimate balance. All right, now we're talking. All right. So, let's get into scenarios now. And I have a feeling this is going to be wacky. Okay? Because I don't know if people know how to handle this data. Just like I was telling Ashma before. What does it matter what I think? This is what matters. Right? If I wait it and it's just like, oh my God, this market's going higher to the moon, right? And we're coming back, right? You just got to see what price action does. Okay? And we got our levels. All right, so first thing I'm going to look at here. Okay? We could be setting ourselves up for just balance. So let's be real here. Bulls are still in charge. All right. We have our ultimate balance level. Happens to be the most traded price of yesterday here. All right. Single prints from the overnight. All right. So first thing here, we could pull back here. Test the most traded price of the week and yesterday. and maybe we go in the middle of ultimate balance, and maybe we want to test the 6406s again. But what if we do this, hold it? Yeah, that'd be nice if the market supports, if the internals support it, right? Take out the overnight highs. Maybe we try to test the all-time highs. I am not sure. Okay, I'm going to pay close attention. All right. Now, here's the difference. If this starts to be a balanced range, okay, when you have ultimate balance, okay, this could turn into the center, like a balance beam, like a seesaw. Okay, so let's say the market does push lower. You break these overnight lows, which is a lot of support. Okay, I would believe there'd be a little fleshy flush right into this demand zone. Okay, this demand zone can turn into your balance lows. Now, let me caveat here. If market internals are not that weak, remember the liver, the heart, the lungs, the kidney, if those internals are like, oh, it's not even that weak, and we come down here pretty quickly, this could be balance lows. And I would wait for like some lower highs and then come back into ultimate balance. Okay? But it's a whole wait and see. It's a wait and see. Okay? The other thing I would say would be if we opened up, ripped up, and kind of just held and held and held here in supply. I'm not a fan of longing in supply. Okay, I'm just not. But you could just rip up, hold and hold and hold, and maybe make a move. But that is not a favorite of mine at all. Okay, that's longs. I would say go to my Discord today. You'll get a more clearer picture because right now this is very murky. You're taking away these single prints. Okay, which like I said, the data was mixed. It was like, what do you make of this? Okay, now if we go to short side, what do we do? Okay, we have supply up here. We have overnight highs here. Okay, so let's say you open up and the market's not that strong, but yet we have a little initial push and you break those overnight highs. Okay, if I get an immediate, right, buyers get trapped, you get some lower highs, we're going to go and test ultimate balance. Okay, that would be a nice short. Right now, if you want to hold one, I didn't do yesterday, which is fine, hold some runners, you're going to rip through. If you rip through ultimate balance and do one of these, find acceptance and retest that, you are going to break this support, the overnight lows. You're going to break the RTH lows of yesterday, 63.87s, and you're going to test this demand. There's a high volume node here, 63.70. You are going to test that support. Now, that's where the rubber meets the road. If buyers come in here where we have a balanced market. We're going to have a balanced range now. Okay? If they don't, then it does not look good. And the range up here will be equaled and you will be going down here to around 63.35s. Okay? Now, if you want to be conservative, you can wait for this move to break under ultimate balance. Wait for a retest to then go lower. That's what I'm looking at in the ES, okay? Hope that's clear. We're over 9 o'clock. I apologize. I started a little later today. Let's go over to the NASDAQ and let's see structure-wise what we're looking at here. All right, now the structure in the NASDAQ right off the bat is more pleasing to the eye. Right off the bat. Right off the bat is a lot more pleasing to the eye. Okay? Now, if you look at the profile, it pretty much has a bullish imbalance to it. Okay? It's not as balanced. Now look, because you got excess, you got value, right? And you got this little excess here. This has a skew to the upside. I will call it a bullish imbalance. And the completed profile would look more like this. Okay, we're above the most traded price of the week. We're at yesterday's most traded price. This is all bullish. Okay, this is all bullish stuff. Right? The beauty about this is, okay, let's zoom in a little bit here. Here's the beauty. We got beautiful levels here. All right. Whenever you have the overnight lows with the yesterday's lows, beautiful. So your 596s to your 587s right here, beautiful. And you line up with this demand. That is, if we turn into balance, that will be your balance lows. Or it could be a break to the downside, okay? Break to the downside. Look at all the trading that happened down here. Oof. And just got all this right here, it just got those shorts just got destroyed with that news. Now, we have a beautiful supply zone up here from the past. So we have our overnight highs, RTH highs. So basically equal. Remember, your Nasdaq's a wild animal. So you don't get exact levels sometimes like you do in the ES, okay? Now, midpoint of this session is right here, 23709. Kind of lines up with the most traded price. This is pretty nice right here. Okay? It is really nice right here. So, in this case, it's a little different. It's a little different. All right? And we're going to get right into scenarios here. So I don't waste anybody more of your guys' time. Okay? Here we go. Let's look at the short side, believe it or not. I'll just start with that. All right, we're at the most traded price of yesterday, right here. Okay, now in a short, what do I want to see? Here's your last week's highs. Push off here, right? Make all-time highs. 23850s around. All right, break that supply. Give me a nice rejection there. Boom. Get buyers trapped there. Get some lower highs. Okay. Make internals when this move happens not be strong. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to come down here, go back into yesterday's range. There's your most traded price of yesterday. Right there. All right. Now, we know we dropped, so that's not as important as it was. It's not as important because we already ran away from that move. Okay. However, what is important is whoever was long here is getting paid. Okay, so as long as you go into this range and you get into those single prints, okay, that's the emotional buyers. There's poor structure here. You can just rip because what do we got? We got the elephant on the toothpick here. Okay, boom, poor structure. You're going to come down and you probably get a little here in this overnight VPOC at 23645. You'll probably get a little like stop here, a little bit. Okay. Then you're going to test the 23587s. And like I said, this is when the rubber meets the road. Either we do this, right? And you're like, oh my God. And then we bounce. And then, okay, now we're in a new balance area. Okay. If we take this demand out, let's just say we take it out and we start to consolidate, we can go down to the 234s. Maybe even test the month-to-date anchored VWAP at 23341. Okay? That's what I'm looking at. That's really what I'm seeing. Anything up here would have not strong internals. Okay? Would have not strong internals. All right? I'm being honest with you. That's probably what I'm interested in the most. Just the move that I just showed you. Okay? Now, let's go to the long side. Remember I said it's bullish structure, right? I just don't trust it a whole lot. But what does that mean? Doesn't mean anything, right? I got to go with the structure. So same thing. Okay? What could happen here? Right? What if we get a little selling, right? Clean up these single prints right here. But guess what's here? Your 237s, right? Your most traded price of the week. If we recapture that and start to hold, start to push up, now you got sellers from here, right? And go to all-time highs, 23850s. Okay, this market is whoa. Markets are strong and off the open or something, and you're like the market's not weak. That's a decent play. Okay. Now, if the market, when it opens, is down here, below the most traded price of the week, let's say we start down here, okay? If we sell off, but let's say it's fast, and we hit this key overnight lows and yesterday's lows, and we go into demand, okay? If you get some kind of nice bounce up and you form a lower high, and the market is not weak, that's a balanced low that's formed, and you're going to go back to the mean, your 237s. Okay? The only thing, and I'm not probably too interested in this, is if we do rip all the way down here and you get a reflexive bounce, you could go and end up here. I'm not the fan of that as much. Okay? That's your scenarios, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Please smash the like button if you did. That would be much appreciated. Okay? Now, come join me every morning. Let me be your cup of coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you drink. All right? I'll give you the market story, the market news, the economic calendar, and I give you scenarios. I just gave you them with key levels. All right, man. What key levels? All right? The levels are very key. All right? Now, if you want to see me in Discord, I should be live today. I'll be live. Okay? And you can see Bookmap. You can see how my commentary. Remember, it's a whole different story when the market opens. When that market opens, right? I have new plans sometimes. Oh, the internals are saying this. So now that plan is this. Oh my God, I didn't think that this would be driving the market or this would be taking the market. Like this sector is weak. You don't know until the market opens. All right. But if you do want to know, and I'll be your indicator, let me be your indicator. Join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, join the community. Also enjoy the weekly expected move indicator for Thinkorswim. Okay, go to my Discord, go to that channel, load it up on your screen. Let me know what you think. I added SPX and Berkshire Hathaway. All right, so now you got SPX, expected move, and Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway is the largest holding in financials. Okay, so I'll either see you in my Discord or tomorrow morning. All right, everybody have a great day.